Good evening, everyone. Let's jump right into collectively rewilding. Oops, I don't know what I just clicked there. Lots of fun things taking place. Some of them I think you can see, some of them I don't think you can see, but it's a Q&A, so let's open up the floor, just the three of us, actually. So if you guys have any questions, otherwise we'll tear apart what's happening in here. All right, so I was just thinking about it. I don't know that we need the discover or explore area. I was thinking maybe just having the member spotlight, the calendar, and the what's new today. But the way they have the featured so nicely over here, I don't know how much use this little area really is. I don't know. I'll think about it. Trying to always make it smaller rather than larger, right? But the really big changes are down below. And so this is all going to start coming together over probably until the end of the summer, I would guess. While it's still things to do outside, right? When the winter hits, I end up finding tons of gardening minded things to do during all the cold season as well. And hopefully we'll have our walipini, which would mean that, thank you, that we'll be able to grow through the winter. And so not as much as one might think as the cold season approaches, but still it'll be a little easier. However, that's the whole point, right? Getting us in here, getting the information we need, and getting outside. So that's really the goal in the end anyway. Definitely was outside doing some maintenance today. I had to cut down probably 20 more little saplings. Yet again, this is already the second time I've cut down saplings in the front yard since we cut down the aspen and birch, the silver birch that were over there. Crazy to keep up with these trees. I do think we're going to see some progress. I didn't have to cut down nearly as many as I did on Sunday. That's how quickly they grow up. Again, I had one that was already, probably about 6 or so inches tall, at least already from trimming them down on Sunday. However, they're just not going to get any nutrients other than what's in the ground. And since the previous owners washed all the nutrients out of the soil, the roots aren't going to be able to sustain themselves for very long, which is unfortunate as far as soil goes, but to get rid of those roots, it's almost worth it, and we have to deal with it anyway. So what you got to do, you got to do. And cut down some weeds in the backyard. There are these soft weeds that I don't really mind having in the yard when I can't get clover to even grow through the whole yard. Where I can get it to grow, it's nice, it's beautiful fat leaves, no 4-leaf clovers as of yet, but nice big fat leaves with big variegated patterns on them. So healthy and gorgeous. Their flowers seem to struggle a little bit more. I'm not sure if I actually planted mini zinnias or if the zinnias struggled so hard that they are only about this big, a little bit between like a quarter and a 50-cent piece, whereas zinnias, typically are pretty nice big flowers. However, I've been bringing soil back to life for the last 3 years now, I believe, and I've tried zinnias each one of those years, and I haven't had any success until now because the soil is just too rough. They can't make it. I planted it in some soil on our last property that I thought was healthier, and it probably was, but apparently it wasn't healthy enough for the zinnias. I was so excited to see them a couple of days ago. Yay, success! Even if it's only on, maybe 12 square feet worth of the backyard where we did have nice wildflower growth, not anywhere near the variety of wildflowers that were planted, but still the hardiest of the seeds that were planted have done very well. And it's just a lot of fun to see life being a part of the backyard. It was very barren last year when we took over the property. Sparse weeds that they barely had to even worry about cutting down. They had cut them down for us, so they weren't, standing tall, but they had hardly any that they needed to deal with. Whereas now the entire yard is pretty well started. There are patches that didn't get any even weed life in them, and so they're still pretty bare. You'll see a scattered plants, sometimes even a wildflower, but they're patches. The rest of it, what can continue on is still green. And those areas that were able to bring up enough life to be able to be mowed over, but have gone into dormancy, that's because the soil is still, really, really rough there. So it's a process, especially if you're not going to bring in a lot of products, topsoil and compost and buying the wood chips to just do everything, chemical fertilizers, chemical weed deterrents, all these things. It's a process to bring life back to the soil. However, once that life is established, it is a much healthier and more easily sustained style of life than the manicured and chemically created kind. I don't believe in having a perfect garden, right? I really like to let the plants interact with each other a little bit. Even this year, it was really hard. I wanted to pull the bindweed out, but it has covered areas of the soil that would have been completely devoid of life. It's also fighting with the plants that I have that did succeed. However, they're succeeding enough. They're doing what they're doing. They're putting out their flowers. They're going to put out some probably less than optimal seeds. Some of them will come back. Not probably what you would normally see for the number of flowers that are there. It'll be a lot less. And I'll definitely want to put down my own seeds because it won't be very strong specimens of the, I wonder why Roger is calling. Let me just tell him that we're in class. He may want to join us. All right, so that way if it's an emergency or something, he can get a hold of me, but everything should be good. All right, so the plants that they do produce will be less than the best. So I'll let them continue. It's still bringing life back, but I will add a ton of clover seed over the whole yard. I did find out that the yellow, it's sweet yellow clover, the type that has a little bit taller stem and the flowers kind of go around it. That is an invasive species of clover. It gets into the pasturage and it causes problems. It's not something that they want in there. So I will not be adding the sweet yellow clover. It was in the ground covers that I had already purchased before I found out that the sweet yellow clover was less than desirable. It's already pretty well out there, but I don't need to contribute to it, right? And so I'm going to just flood the yard, both sides, with white clover, scarlet clover, and red clover are the three different ways they call the variants that you can get, right? The red and the scarlet, sometimes they're just tricking you, but there are some differences. There are 3 different non-invasive clovers that you can add to your yard. And then in the front, we'll also add a blend of grasses that are drought resistant. We're not going to totally get rid of the yard. We want that grass to be there for the walkways between the raised beds, for the dogs to be out there and have some area to just, be dogs and lay down on the ground and walk around the yard and check out their territory, all these great things that animals do. And we want it to be more biodiverse. So 4 types of grass, 3 types of clover with those big garden mounds on them that will have a variety of plant life will really increase the biodiversity of the front yard as well as our ability to benefit from it. Where we've cut down these aspen and birch, I was thinking about it. I would like to add a continuing understory with the 2 cherry trees. My husband and I talked about it. You saw him headed off to bed there. He thinks it would be better, since we don't know for sure that we can get the permission from the city that we need to cut down the 2 false pears, is what I call them. They won't put off pears. They put off these hard, weird little berries that the birds don't even eat. And they are actually pollinated by flies, so they stink. It's a problem that they had up in Idaho. I didn't think they had it here, but apparently they do in Tooele. And I would like to cut them down. They're also very weak wood. They grow very fast, which is why they were chosen. They didn't look into some of the other less positive side effects, which include that fast growth. The faster the tree grows, the weaker the wood, right? So when we use that aspen and birch, as a part of the wall in the Walipini, the submerged greenhouse, that wood is very soft. It's only probably going to last about 10 years if we can manage to eke it out as long as it could contribute to the structure of the Walipini. But that will allow us time to buy things that we need and have them ready instead of having to make such a big investment, also allowing us to pay a lot of other things off so that whatever we do need to just go out and still buy, we're more able to do that. So it's also about using the resources that are here, not letting them go to waste, and it's going to make a very cute and unique look inside the Walipini. So it's just a good thing all around. Those will slowly decompose. At the point when we go to pull them out, they won't be fully decomposed. We'll have to take them and break them up and use them in some other variety of ways that we have available, right? You can break them in half and take them and still define small areas in your garden. If you want to do a low raised bed, you can just start breaking them up more and more and then putting it into the compost bin, continuing to let it break up. Getting a wood chipper for a residential property is a little bit steep in price. I wouldn't really think most people would have enough need to have a wood chipper. So this is like a one-time thing for us, right? We're not going to just have constant wood that we need to chip. So finding other ways to make use of it as it does biodegrade and return to the earth is something that we really strongly believe in, right? And so I'll bring you guys along with that as we go. Right now, I'm just trying to keep everything watered, keep the trees down. I did the weeds in the backyard, and the next step will be to continue to move the finer limbs and the detritus that's kind of left over from the top branches and the smaller branches into an area in the backyard where they can stay until we can break them up further and continue to add most of that to the compost heap, right? We have too much to really make into an efficient compost heap on a residential area. So we're doing 2 different small raised beds as compost heaps. One is the thing that's been filled with through this almost whole year. So it'll be a full year on September 1st, right? And the other we just filled with all of the limbs that we could legitimately put in to begin the new compost bed. And we topped off the other compost bin, and then we'll work that in. We're also going to add some of the soil because that soil, just like the rest of the soil, is depleted. So if we take a good amount out of that huge pile of dirt that we have over here on the west side of the backyard and add a good portion into the compost heap, it just gets it started. It'll put the wood and leaves underneath the dirt where it will start to break down. In some ways a little more slowly, in some ways a little more quickly. It all works together, right? We're actually going to lay down a tarp before we do anything like that and tromp all over it. All 4 of us just go out there in circles and crisscross patterns, just trompling on it, getting it to break down and break down and break down. Then we're going to add the soil just to kind of keep the leaves there so they don't blow away as they lose shape and pull away from the branches and things. And then we'll continue to add our garden material to that. The leaves that we get off of the maple, I am going to go ahead and gather this year, not because I'm worried about them being on my lawn. I don't worry about things like that, but because they just pretty much blew away and they were wasted as far as compost for this property. So we'll probably gather a large portion of the maple leaves and add them to the compost heap. The green leaves that we took from these cut trees, they were in their chlorophyll form, right? They were green. That was green material for the compost heap. Now, when it comes to the fall leaves where they've lost that chlorophyll, that is a brown material. So leaves can walk that line. They can become green material or brown material. Brown material being the more common form for our compost heap, right? All right, so that was the outdoor journey for this week. And here for the journey inside Collectively Rewilding, I would love to hear your feedback. Shout it out if you think something or if you like it, don't like it. This is definitely going to be something I want to feel good for everyone, right? We have our core little group and we all can work together really well. And I think that having that interaction will make it the best place that it can possibly be. So the first space for Start Here has been released and everybody can access that. new member Launchpad is going to hold the new tour, right? So for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know I used to do long tours. They took about 45 minutes, and that was when we were working over in LH2. And so that was great. It covered everything that needed to be covered. It covered it pretty well. It was as quick as I could possibly get it to cover the needed pieces. However, with Julia May's style, she breaks it down into 5 to 10 minute videos and somewhere between, 6 to 10 videos to break the tour up. And so that's what you'll see in the new member Launchpad. And I think it's a lot easier for people to want to follow. And if it has value, they'll keep going. If not, they can move in and just start learning as they go, as so many people like to do, right? Each of us have our own style of interaction in all spaces, including online spaces. Then stay tuned. I'm not sure if I like that title. Again, you see a lot of similarity between the two communities. I don't know if I feel like that really fits completely. So that one I'm still playing with in my head. I haven't come up with anything better. It's the community element of our overall community. And to me, that should include something like the word community. The thing is, you only have so much space to be able to say something and have it actually be readable while you don't expand the contents menu or click the tab to see the whole title, right? You want it to be a little bit more visible. And so any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I have thought about it for a very long time since that was our community element in LH2. It just never quite fit for me. I have yet to come up with something I like better. So please, if you have thoughts, let them fly, right? Within this area, we have, of course, CR News and Updates. This is what used to be Collectively Rewilding Home. This is our home in Collectively Rewilding, so that was, I suppose, a bit redundant. And Julia May actually wasn't even talking about changing it, but I just felt that if it's going to be about community news, let's make it a little clearer. So it's CR News and Updates, all the information that you guys have been placing in here, just general garden information. That's great. Keep it up. This is all still in flux, and I'm not certain how any of it will completely play out, right? So let's help me find our rhythm. Absolutely. And then this is an area that you're not able to see yet. This one I'm really excited about, but it's definitely going to take some time, and it's going to have to begin at the beginning of next year in January. It's a monthly planner that we can, of course, update and keep fresh and all of that, but that'll be those basic tasks that we need to do at each part of the year, month to month, so that we are maintaining our garden, when to start seedlings, when to begin looking at the seeds to plant that year, when to start preparing for the harvest, all of these different things in a month by month course. And so Miss Julia has one of those in her community, and I really loved the idea. She suggested that we do something like a gardening planner, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that would be really neat to take almost calendar course of the year that we can continue to utilize every year and keep ourselves on track. Checklists in each one of these different lessons so that you can print that up and just have it there in a folder or as you go along for each different month. Again, each of us find our own ways and how we do these different pieces of our lives, right? The next area is completely hidden. It's completely new and hasn't gotten anything going yet. So let me know what you guys think. Again, if you like or don't like the overall way we're going, this is where we can all kind of get together and hang out in community forums. Not so much for our lives, join us live with Tammy's member meetups, and I have added country living and business to that, as it didn't really fit necessarily anywhere else, and it's certainly community getting together, right? So this member connect area is going to be a chat, shoot the breeze for a community chat. Tell us anything you want to tell us about what you've got going on. Then a feed that's dedicated to whatever you're doing outdoors, or if you're bringing the outdoors indoors and you have a new potted plant, anything that you're doing, show your wild, right? And then finally, another dedicated feed for anybody's gardening hacks. Perhaps this would be a good place, Tammy. If I believe you're here with us, I haven't had a chance to look for a second. Yes, perhaps this would be a good place for you to start putting the gardening pieces that you've been putting in CR News and Updates, right? I hadn't even thought about it, but it's a little
Can
bit
you,
different. Just like we're,
Sabrina, can you expand it a little bit? I can't really see it. Let me see if I can't zoom my,
oh, and then that makes my, let me go a little smaller.
that's too big.
There, does that work?
Is it the third one? Okay,
Gardening.
gardening and, okay, what do you want me to do again?
If you wanted to put all your gardening pieces, like where you
Oh,
put,
okay, cool.
right?
Like
Because it's
my,
a little bit more dedicated to it. Do you like that idea?
yeah, that's chill.
Like this one right here, the secret to growing sunflowers for the happiest garden ever. I don't know how I missed that one.
Oh, I just posted that one.
Oh, okay. It's up here in my notifications. I love
Yeah.
sunflowers, right? And I have volunteer sunflowers, a lot of volunteer sunflowers in the backyard. But you could start posting them in there so that when we're ready to release it, the space has goodies.
Okay, so,
You're a moderator, right? You should be able to
mhm.
join as a host.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm a moderator in almost all of them. So
I may
basically,
have to add you, but I don't think so. Like when you go into it, it should, if you go into the collection, it'll say join as host, and you can join, and you're already a host. If you've already joined them,
maybe I just haven't been in that one yet.
okay.
I've
Let
been
me
in the
know if you need me
gardening.
to change it, right? Because if you just went in it, it would have joined you, but not necessarily as a host, I think, right?
Yeah, I haven't gone to that space yet. I haven't gotten there yet.
I think it would be a great place for that though, right?
Yeah,
Because
for
it
sure.
really is like what you're posting a lot of the times with
Okay.
the this is what a cucumber, how to best do it, or if you have problems with your cucumber, I can't think of any specifically. I
I
know you,
think that's where I post all my stuff anyway, Sabrina.
what's that?
I think that's where I post all my stuff anyways.
No, it's brand new, gardening hacks.
Oh, okay.
And
Sorry.
so, like, only the moderators and the hosts can get into this area. But if you
Okay,
utilize this area, then we can release it, right? It just doesn't have anything in it yet. And I've
I
been
gotcha.
thinking about how it's all going to work and how everything's going to flow. And as I'm thinking about it, like, this is a great place for the posts that you and Ethel put up, right? They're gardening pieces. So
I gotcha.
with that, I think people will find them more readily.
Okay, so for the community update ones, what that one right there, what would you want me to? Because that's
I
where
don't
I
know.
normally post it.
Right. So I'm not sure if we like, okay, so this to me is more like a community news or update that's just not gardening. And then this, well, actually, when I saw this one, I might have put this one into pollinators. Ants are absolutely pollinators.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't sure.
totally. And,
Yeah.
whenever I come across things like that, I just appreciate the material. So don't ever
Yeah.
feel anything like other than appreciated, right?
Yeah, no. And sometimes I want to post things about spiders and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I like bugs. And I don't like I like bugs, but I just read a lot of things about bugs and gardens and how they do help
I think
with
anything bugs just go in pollinator place.
Okay.
Even the bugs that aren't really pollinators, they've done studies and they do a small amount of pollinating, pretty much no matter what kind of bug they are. So they have an effect. And ants and worms may or may not always pollinate, but they dig tunnels, which aerates the soil. Like it's all a part of it. So pollinator place, I think it can handle all bug stuff. I think it's a great place for it. All right. And so then after gardening hacks, we go into our CR workshops. They're pretty much what they've always been. Healthy soil creation was sustainable organic soil creation. Again, just trying to make it so that it fits in the contents menu, right? Pollinator place, I think I changed that one just a slight bit too. And then I took out the wording and put numerals here. So the pollinator place does have a course, so we don't have an event there. It has some overall pieces that help if you want to do planning to help the pollinators out there, right? And of course, it helps all of the bugs. And there are some that you would think of as bugs that pollinate and some that you don't always think about. So when we're helping the overall biodiversity of our spaces, really, that's the key. Anything that you're doing to bring more natural interaction is a success, right? And so, oh, and so then to survive or not to survive, I've posted a little bit of material for you guys. It does have the table of contents as well. This will have a course. Once we get the garden established, we're going to start going out and showing people how to do an emergency shelter or how to build a filter to purify water to the best that you could in an emergency situation, right? And do all these things. Right now, the focus is the garden, but those are the 3 courses. I will definitely be doing at least some of the bug homes, the bug hotels, right? Whatever anybody wants to call them for the wasps and things like that. I really think that creating an area is better than just getting rid of them, or also then letting them do damage, right? So we have the wasp nest that is up at the top of the roof and in the eaves. And if we were to just let it continue, they would eventually go into the wall. There were wasps in the walls at one of the apartment complexes that we were in. Thank goodness it wasn't in our building, but there were at least, I think, 2 buildings that had a wall that was just completely infested with some sort of wasp or wasp-like creature. And so you have to take some preventative measures. We're going to blast that away with water, certainly better than a pesticide or anything, and keep an eye on it, right? It's going to require the pressure washer, and my husband may have to actually get up onto the ladder to reach it. It's relatively high. Our house isn't actually that high, but there is an incomplete attic space up there, and so it goes up a little ways, and he'll have to make sure that the water can reach it. And I'm like, okay, well, you better put on like a hat and gloves because we're gonna piss those creatures off. But where they're not damaging the garden shed, where they're just in the door frame, there's no double layer material there where they could get in and start becoming a real problem. I've let their little structure stay after all of the bees that have been placed in there as larvae, right? That's the eggs, whatever one wants to look at it. Once those have hatched, I will get rid of that structure. It's not something I really prefer, and I'm going to create locations that will be better that they can utilize outside. It won't always work, and sometimes I'll let their structures stay for the season, and sometimes I won't, depending, right? And so that's where we each make those different calls. But I would love to get some events going in here at some point, probably singular events that just come out when I've got some content to start adding into that course there. And then, of course, Miss Tammy has member meetups in Join Us Live, Country Living and Business. That is something that we all participate with and over in LH2, but it's absolutely relevant to what we do here. So I definitely want that material here. And it's definitely a member get together, right? This is an area that I'm really unsure of, and I would love feedback on as well, right? You guys can think on it. If you come up with something, just let me know. These are our resource libraries. It was an area that was completely new. I had never thought about doing something like this. It was Julia May's idea, but she said it and immediately got my brain just firing. I had so many different ideas around this. However, I wanted to play with the AI here in Mighty, and they will build a course for you. I actually like what they put together. I still want to do some of the things that I had originally intended to do, and I'll do those the way that I intended, but I'm going to keep quite a bit of what they have and start fleshing it out. So the basics for the basic plants, right? Strawberries, tomatoes, hot peppers, bell peppers, peas, green beans, leafy greens, right? One of the lessons that I'm thinking about that they didn't add here in common garden vegetables, legumes, right? They have roots, herbs, leafy, tomatoes and peppers. I will probably change this to nightshades so that it includes all the nightshades. And but that isn't very clear. Not everyone just thinks about nightshades as the plant family for tomatoes and peppers. So I will think about that a little bit, but the overall nightshade family, perhaps tomatoes, peppers, and all the nightshades or something like that. Leafy greens is great, root vegetables and herbs, legumes, whether you consider that to include not only peas and green beans, but also pinto beans, right? There's some variations in that. I want to look into the definition a little bit more and decide if that'll be enough, where I can put green beans, peas, pinto beans, navy beans, right? they're not a tomato or a pepper, a leafy green, a root vegetable, or an herb, nor are they any of the other nightshades such as eggplant, right? I still like the way they did this. I was picturing it more as a unit for eggplant and then a unit for broccoli. So I'm going to have to think it over and see what it ends up happening. But I think I'm going to play with this some. I really like what the AI did. Then again, I was still trying to get, this was the original attempt to get like a broccoli unit and a bell pepper unit. And the AI came up with something completely different, but I really like the subject matter. And I think it's all really useful. Soil preparation, composting techniques. How often has that come up as a discussion in our community to just have that there, right there in the right kind of overall location? Great pieces. Climate considerations. That's what we've been talking about, having information to deal with the extreme weather that we're all having in one fashion or another pretty well throughout the United States and probably the majority of the globe. I certainly hear of it in a lot of different areas, but it's hard to know. There's so much to really know when you think about all of the different countries on each different continent and what each one is going through. That's a lot of people to be struggling through extreme weather, and so definitely something to think about. Watering and drainage tips. So selecting and planting vegetables, maintenance and harvesting, and I thought that was really good. They missed a little bit, but I think that it would be something to play with. And finally, gardening treasures. This again had a different intent, but I liked what they put together. And it's going to talk about more like the resource shelf in your library, right? Books and magazines for gardening, online communities and forums for gardening. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would never have thought to put some of these types, local gardening clubs and events. I think that that's a brilliant idea to get lists from the states for all of these different types of pieces, different gardening apps. I've shared with you some of the gardening apps that I use, but I've not put it together for you. Different gardening websites. It's really quite a brilliant idea. And so I'm definitely going to make use of these different pieces that the AI has created, as well as to create a resource library for the different types of opportunities to keep our costs low, right? At a minimum, that will be one other resource library that gets created here. I'll play with it and see what ends up coming out, but 3 or 4 different libraries, and I'm really excited about how they're going to turn out. Our world regions, as we've talked about, that's pretty well stayed the same, as has Nature's Spotlight. Look for the changing icons. A lot of this will remain the same. I've gotten pretty well caught up with all of them. As I mentioned to, oh goodness, someone in this network of support that I have, trying to build the community, trying to build the platform, trying to go nonprofit, all of these different pieces. I can't remember who I was speaking with. And oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Oh, yes. They were worried I wasn't putting out enough content. And the folks that are doing really good or that are newer, doesn't matter. They don't put out anywhere near the amount of content that I do. And that's been stymied a little bit because of the repetitive nature of what we're doing here in the yard. As soon as we're not just hauling dirt and trees, I'll be taking a lot of other content videos to share with everyone here and in YouTube, right? So I don't have any kind of worry about our content level here. We're putting out a great amount of content and really letting people see all of the great things that we're all doing out there to be a more productive and positive force in our local environments, right? So lots of pieces have been added there for you, though, but it was a little too easy to get caught up almost. And then finally, if you think we should, I'm not sure, the talk to us, again, that's more for the generalized communities that Julia May works in. I don't know if we need a specific questions area, because in most everything, anyone can leave a question with whatever they're thinking. The exceptions being, well, no, those will all be open. the gardening planner, that's not going to have a feed, I don't think. It may. So that's a place that can't be anyone just posting, right? But all of these have places. Perhaps these, I think, now just have the courses. I'm not certain. I've got to look in. I'm still learning all of it too, right? It's changed a lot to follow some of the overall directions that many people have been talking to me about over time. And Julia May being, in my opinion, just such an amazing resource. I really do like the way that she presents the material, and the reasons that she thinks what she does have a lot of validity, even if it's not always something that I want to hear. So definitely a lot of change has been going on. But I always want to hear if you guys don't like it, or if you love it, or if you have a thought for something else that should get added. Maybe you know of a different resource that you would like to see here, right? So definitely let me know anything that you guys see that you think should be improved upon or added to. All right. So that's pretty well everything that I've had going on. There are several more of us here now. Does anybody have any kind of question, whether about your garden or anything you're doing, composting, or anything we're doing here in Collectively Rewilding? Yes, please, Candace.
Oh, I was wondering, is there like a space, say if I want, because I got the cucumbers, but where can I like track
Well, you know what? Let's
about?
just open this up, right? They're pretty well ready. So I'm going to just open this space up, and you can put that in Show Your Wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all know what's going on. It's not a big secret. Oh, whoops. So it doesn't have to stay hidden. And that would be a great thing to throw into the Show Your Wild, right? Or if you had to do some neat things to get your cucumbers, you might put it in gardening hacks, either or.
Okay.
And they just opened up for everybody. So now there's just a couple of them that aren't open to everybody. The resource library, the gardening planner, and the new member launchpad aren't quite opened up yet. But yeah, let's just play. If you want to put a gardening hack in, if you want to put a picture in of where you're at with your gardens, or if you take a walk in the park, or if you're out and you're throwing the ball with your dog and they make an amazing catch and you got it on film somehow, that's outdoors, right? That's the wild. If you have put in a new potted plant in your house, whatever it may be that you're out there doing, throw that in there. And then the chat is open for anything you guys want to talk about, whether it's the stuff we always talk about or just something else that you'd like to share with the community. There's your Shoot the Breeze chat, right? So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you for wanting to share, Candace.
Cool. Oh, I did have like after I've been like mulching areas, I've been seeing something. It looks like poison ivy. I don't know if there's ivy that isn't poison, but it's like a viney.
Is it three leaved or three lobes, right? Poison oak is what we deal with over here more than poison ivy. Let's just look it up. There's a saying around poison ivy about three lobes, three leaves. Three leaves or five leaves, the three leaves saying. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. The common saying, leaves of three, let it be. So see how it's three leaves, like a little
Yeah.
almost triangle there?
Mm-hmm.
That is poison ivy.
Oh no, it's not good. Should I kill it?
Uh-oh, is that what you have? It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Ah, yeah. So heavy gloves. Don't touch your skin. Maybe rakes if you can. I've never dealt with it. I don't know what would, maybe pitchforks where you could twine it up in the pitchfork and not really touch it a lot and then clean off that pitchfork. I mean, the stuff, I'm not allergic to poison oak. I've not really dealt with poison ivy. But for those who are allergic to it, oh gosh, it can cause just sheer misery for several days.
Hmm. Maybe I have touched it a time or two. I
There are
thought,
a lot of people that aren't allergic to it. If you're not allergic to it, it doesn't have the same kind of reaction. Now, if you went and just rolled around in it every day, you would probably end up developing that reaction. But if you don't have it, I've walked through the Colorado mountains and hills well before I knew better than to get next to poison oak. I was familiar with poison ivy, and I didn't think we really had it because we don't really have ivy. It's not that kind of a wood. It's too dry, right? So I was never worried about that, but there's poison oak, and I have just tromped through that all of my life. So I'm not concerned about it, but
what is
if you don't
oh,
want it, you don't want it. Bad.
no, I said, what does it look like? What does poison oak look like?
Oh, poison oak. It looks like oak leaves. They're tri-colored usually. So let's see. It's comparable, right? See what this one shows us here. Oh, and poison sumac. I have heard of that. Again, not something that I have to deal with over here in the West. Okay, so this is poison ivy. And see, it's very comparable, but how it has that reddish. Can you see that? Let me make it a little larger for you guys. See how it's got a reddish tint to it? It gets quite bronze and red in my area. It's pretty easily identifiable. And it is, yeah, like a little shrub in my area more than a vine. From what I've witnessed, it's probably both. I didn't have to worry about it, so I didn't pay that much attention to it. This is, it has some brown, almost red down here, but it doesn't have that same kind of distinction for poison ivy. And then let's check out poison sumac. Wow, they are very similar, all of them, aren't they? This has more of that red, but just in the stem and the main vein, and it looks almost like a hosta or something, but it's still that triangular shaping. This one isn't in threes though, right? Both of the others are threes. This one is just, it looks like they're all paired. They're not, some leaves are interlaced and some meet, and I can't think of the different terms for it right now. I think these are the type that meet together. It looks like they're equal, not opposing, something to that effect. So that is definitely not a fun plant if that's what you've got going on. Let's just check out some eradication methods for you.
I was about to say, should I definitely be looking to get rid of those?
I mean, if you have a big enough property and you have a little like woodlands area that you guys don't go walking through, or you guys have all gone walking through it enough to where you're pretty sure you're immune, let's look at this first so that we can follow, and then let's see if poison ivy is invasive in your area. Okay. So protect yourself with proper clothing, which is, yeah, gear up, long sleeves, pants, thick gloves, not like some weak sauce gloves. Make sure that they are, I would say, probably waterproof, right? You don't want it to soak through. Eye protection, because when it smacks back at you, right? I would probably, I don't like covering my face. I just can't about stand it, but I would probably put some sort of Tide mask, not even just like a paper mask. I'd want it to cover my ears, and even maybe a bandana or my hat to bring it down. And then I already have my gloves, or my glasses, but perhaps it wouldn't hurt to put safety glasses over that at the same time, and remove and wash them separately for your tools and clothing. This is hardcore stuff for people that are allergic to it, right? Pull or dig. For small plants, hand pulling can be effective. For larger plants or stubborn roots, use a shovel or trowel to dig them out, making sure to remove as much of the root system as possible. Cut and treat. And of course, I have other recommendations than a chemical herbicide, but get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, right? Seal the removed plants and roots in a plastic bag and dispose of them in the trash. Do not burn or compost them. Wow. Smother, herbicide, boiling water, repeat. All right. So herbicide in my book would be, depending on what's going on, right? I'd look into maybe neem oil. That would be a separate sort of a search, and we can do that one as well. But let's see if, and you're in Massachusetts?
Georgia.
Oh gosh, I was thinking I was talking to Benny for a second. Oh my gosh, guys, I should have a different time period for this class. I get tired. Ken does. I apologize, Georgia. So poison ivy is probably invasive where you are. I wouldn't think it would be in the colder areas. Oh, again, I'm tired, so I make silly mistakes. It's not considered invasive. Okay, so it's really up to you, right? If your property's big enough and it's not bothering you, you can leave it without it being a problem. If you don't like it, that's how you would get rid of it.
Okay. Should I test it to make sure it's poison ivy first?
Yes, absolutely. So the plant app that I use is called Picture This, and it's been pretty reliable for me. This is what the little app looks like there. And Benny, you should tell me in the chat, did I get it right? Are you in Massachusetts? Did I finally remember? I remember you're in Georgia, Kendez. It's a little bit easier when we get to talk. Benny's always got to be in the chat, unfortunately. So I haven't gotten to talk to him much in person. I think maybe once or twice on the phone for LH2. But you can download the app for free, probably as a trial. Yeah, see, try for free. I think it's $40 for the year. Not too bad. Been relatively accurate. It wants you to take as much of the picture all by itself as you can, but there's a lot of times when I haven't been able to do that. And as long as I could really focus in on the plant, it was still able to identify it. So it's pretty reasonable and pretty accurate as far as I've been able to tell the plants that I knew. When I don't know a plant, I can't tell for sure, right? I have to let the app lead the way, but a lot of the plants that I look up, I'm verifying that the app is accurate, and it has been so far, right? So really pretty decent. Let's do this on Google Play Store, just because I have already had my computer invaded recently,
What?
and I had to clean it all up. So I'm really paying attention to those links. It started doing it with Yahoo in it, and I had removed Yahoo, and I went and verified, and it still wasn't there. So that's absolutely an identifier that perhaps you have some invasive software, malware on your computer, right? And so we're looking for picture this. Oh, and it went down. Cute little tulip in picture frame there. I think they should call plant this or something. I always want to put plant in there, but it's called Picture This, and it's quite useful. I'll throw that in there for you guys. And tonight's class is in CR News and Updates. So see, I've got to move things around. I don't think that this necessarily belongs here anymore. We could have an event that covered that, but I don't think it belongs here quite anymore. So I'll figure something out about that too. But really, guys, I would love your feedback all the time. Just if you think something, just create. That's weird. Why does it look like this? Not that. That's weird. Okay, but that's what they're showing for some odd reason. And that is a really useful app. I really like it. So you should definitely check that out if you would like to identify it for sure. Try it for free and see if you like it and want to keep it, or if you just want to identify whether it's poison ivy or not, to decide if you want to get rid of it.
Okay. Most
Yeah.
definitely. Appreciate it.
Anything else that you wanted to throw out there, Mr. Kenda?
No, that's about it for right now.
All right. All right. Let's check and see if Benny said if I had it right. For some reason, I can now. Yes, yay, I did. I got the wrong person in the moment, but my brain finally retained where Benny lives. Oh my goodness. So we have a pretty decent spread already, right? California to Georgia. I don't know that we have anybody in Florida, but that's getting really close over there to the full other side of the coast. Really neat, you guys. Anything? Anyone?
Yeah, you go, Wendy from Florida.
Oh, Wendy. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm gonna have to like get a little map and like
then we
put
got
a
Alabama. We
pin.
got Miss Vanessa from Alabama.
And of course, Miss Ethel in Louisiana. So the
No,
South is well
Vanessa.
represented, right?
Vanessa, she's from Alabama.
I
Yeah.
do remember that one because you've shared so much for her here in Collectively Rewilding that it did definitely stick. You know what I should just write it down here. Let's see, what's this? Okay, so this is what I added. I added step 1 and step 2 to our troubleshooting guide. right? If you guys are struggling there, if you have the same kind of problem and you think there might be invasive software called malware on your computer, I have additional steps in our troubleshooting guide to help you clean that up, okay? And then we were just going to write it down. Okay, so Benny's in Massachusetts. He's representing it for the Northeast there. Whew, far away and cold. And then we have Wendy in Florida. So that's almost the, California is almost the whole side over here. So it's practically the 4 outer edges of the country there. Florida, and then isn't Georgia next as you work back?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's Alabama. And then Louisiana.
And we got Roger White from Maryland.
Oh, yeah. No, he's in New York.
No, Maryland.
But where does he live right now?
Roger White lives in Maryland.
Okay.
In DC.
Well, he should have been up at the top then, huh? I forgot about Roger.
I'm going to tell him that, New York. And then we got Miss Charity Spencer from Minnesota.
Yeah, but they're not active over here much yet. Well, Charity has been in some. We'll put Charity.
Yeah. Trying to think. I have to see their faces, and then I'm like, I don't see it.
Okay, and Miss Tammy in California, of course. And then
we got Maurice.
I know where.
We got Maurice. Maurice.
I don't know where Maurice is from.
He lives in Oregon.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's in Oregon. He's not here, but he's in one of my classes on here.
He talks occasionally and things inside the community. It's nice. And then I think it's Jason Ridgway, and I know
we got Michael. We got Michael.
Michael, yep. And
he's from Virginia.
Okay.
Trying to think. And then we got. There's so many. I gotta remember pictures.
And then of course, Mom down in Colorado. Down from me, but not necessarily. It is south, right? Southwest Colorado is getting pretty south in the nation. So I know we're missing a few, but that's a pretty good start there. So I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to put a little map over here, but where my wall is, where I put things so that I can remember them. Definitely wanna have that map up there so I can remember where you guys are all from when we're talking about this, and pay more attention to the news and things from those areas to give you guys additional material, right? All right. Well, let's check out our calendar. That is going to be Miss Tammy, our next upcoming class this Saturday at 12 o'clock noon Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 2 o'clock p.m. Central, and 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I will be back with you all on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central, and 9:30 Eastern. All right, guys. Hope to see you all there, and at all the other classes in between that we regularly work with. Please feel free to unmute yourselves and say goodnight, everyone.
Buenas noches, everybody.
Sorry, my hair is such a mess. I've been out in the garden. What are you gonna do, right? Bye, guys.